some of the best watches that you can buy right now under $1,000. Today we're going to be talking about watches that cost under $1,000 that is either new or on the gray market that I feel are a good value. That does mean different things to different people, so let me break it down exactly what I think a good value watch is. Number one, it's got to look good. Number two, it's got to be made well. It should be reliable, and I should have some experience with the watch to be able to make you this recommendation. Also, it needs to be available. So this is a watch that you should be able to buy. It shouldn't be a watch that is made by one guy in a small shop somewhere that's making a watch that costs $1,000 but is almost impossible to get. He doesn't have a website and you have to go to Facebook to get it. Something like that is not on the table here. These are all available, really well-made watches that are, of course, good looking. And I do want to mention that I will be talking about a few gray market watches. Gray market is really important when you're talking about that sub $1,000 price point because you can get a lot higher end watch for a very good price. These will be new on the gray market, not used. So just keep that in mind. So without further ado, let's talk about my first pick for value watches under $1,000. Doxa is a historical brand. They make a lot of really cool orange dial watches, but there is one watch that is very affordable, gets an orange dial, and is really well made. It's a very versatile dive watch, and that is, of course, the Doxa Sub 200 Professional. These are available on the secondary market, so this is the gray market, for under $1,000. However, if you really wanted one, you could buy one just over $1,000 brand new. But again, these are all watches that cost under $1,000, so this one would be on the secondary market. Again, this is a historic brand known for their dive watches. This one comes on a bracelet for around $1,000. If you want it under $1,000, get it on the rubber strap, 200 meters of water resistance, orange dial, black bezel, which I just love that combination, 42 millimeters. I don't love a beads of rice. This does come on a beads of rice. It doesn't look terrible with this watch because it is vintage inspired. It's obviously a vintage style watch, so beads of rice kind of makes sense with this style watch, and it's powered by a very reliable Sellita SW200. You cannot get more reliable than this watch. I think it's really good looking. It meets all of my criteria. If you love the watches that I talk about here on my channel, you're really going to love the website that I'm about to tell you about. It's called Wristrebels. Wristrebels is a website that has all of those small micro brands and independent brands that are really hard to find all in one place. Brands like Formex, Awake, Martin Designs, and Squale, and many other brands you won't find anywhere else. Definitely check out Wristrebels at wristrebels.com. Also check out their Instagram at Wristrebels, and if you end up buying something, tell them that watchChris sent you. The next watch is another watch that is available on the secondary market. It's a gray market watch, but you can get it brand new, like I was saying for all of the watches in this video, and it is well under $1,000, starting at around $600. There's actually two watches that I want to talk about. One is the Waltham Field and Marine, powered by a SW200. This was a reissue of an original design in collaboration with Watch Angels. Now, Watch Angels is a group of guys who really love watches, and they've worked with Waltham to bring this model back to life. This is the Field and Marine, so obviously this is a Marine / Field watch. And it gets a really interesting large crown that sort of pops out when you unwind the crown. It's very, very large, very easy to use, very legible. This gets good lume. It gets a really beautiful case, actually. I really like the look of this watch. And these are around $669 on places like eBay right now. So if you wanted this watch brand new, it would be well over $1,000. I think these were around $1,700 and up. So they actually were more expensive than that. But currently, if you want one, you can buy one for $669. And then there's the A17. The A17 is another watch that is a Waltham that was done in collaboration with Watch Angels. And these get really cool Fume dials. Some of them have some different dials as well, but the Fume dials are the ones that I really like. They made some DLC coded cases. These are powered by an M100 SOPROD movement, which is equivalent or maybe even a little bit better than that SW200, and these are available for the exact same price. They look like a military inspired watch, and that is because they are inspired by the original A17, which was a military watch. These are a hell of a bargain on the secondary market, and I highly recommend them. And I have a little bit of a tip for you. If you go on eBay and you see these for sale, there are a few major brands actually selling them. I think Watch Gang is selling these right now. Add it to your wish list, your saved list, and eventually the seller will make you an offer of $615, somewhere around there. So if you actually like this watch and you want to get it for even cheaper than the $669 that it's going for on eBay right now, just do that and you get an extra bargain. Next is a watch. It's a micro brand watch that I reviewed here on my channel from the brand Bausele. Bausele make some really, really specced out watches for the money, specifically their Elemental. They've made other watches in the past. This one, it feels like they were reaching for the stars. This is an integrated bracelet watch with a textured dial, 200 meters of water resistance, a Sellita SW200 sapphire crystal, really nice bracelet with on-the-fly micro adjust. They basically gave you everything in one watch. They even have like a special crown that has a little sapphire insert in it so that they could put different materials into the crown for the inspiration behind the watch. So there's a few different inspirations that they're using. The one that I had on my channel actually had some sand in the crown. It was kind of cool. It was a little bit gimmicky, but with that being said, this watch is around $750. What you are getting here, a very good looking watch with a textured dial that you can go swimming with. All that water resistance, the on-the-fly micro adjust, it's not really that thick. It's really nicely sized and it's really good looking. This is an actual go everywhere, do anything watch, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. Really cool watch for a great price. So getting back to those gray market watches, there's another brand that I think is such a good value on the secondary market, and that is Accutron. Accutron sell for great prices on the secondary market, but a specific line that I think is really well designed, really good looking watches that get Sellita SW200s. Their designs are somewhat Art Deco. Their packaging is beautiful. These are true luxury watches for a great price. Those are the Accutron Legacy models, and these run the gamut. So you can get these for around $1,000, and I mean that's at the higher end of the price range for secondary market pickups, and then they go down much lower than that depending on the model. But there are a lot of different models that you can find on places like eBay, and you can get ones that are slightly used even for less money, and it is really a shame because these are great watches. But really, it's not a shame because we get to own them, and they are really fantastic watches, especially for their secondary market prices. So definitely check out places like eBay and Chrono24 for watches like these at a heavy discount. So I always have to mention Christopher Ward in videos like these because I really do think Christopher Ward makes some very, very good value watches, and they are always really well made. These are powered by Sellita SW200s like most of their watches are, and these are watches that came out last year, and currently they are actually on sale on their website. Christopher Ward now have a clearance section. Sometimes it disappears. Right now there are a few of these watches for sale on their website, and these already start out at $975 on a strap, but you can now get these on a bracelet, certain models that they have on sale, for less than that, which is an incredible price. These are the C60 Trident Reefs. These were colorful watches that they came out with that had a bunch of different colors. My favorite was the white with the aqua blue accent. So the indices, the hands, they had this aqua blue accent. This looks like a summer watch, but it also kind of looks like a ski watch. So maybe like a ski dive watch. I've been saying that a lot recently. I don't know why, but I really like a white diver. It's been getting in my head a little bit. And like I said, you can get these on clearance currently. They also have a few other watches on clearance. They have some Sealanders. They have Reefs on sale for around $950 on a bracelet. So even cheaper if you were buying it on a strap new. So definitely check out their website. Definitely check out their clearance section if you are interested in one of these watches, or maybe even a Sealander. I would say the best bargain that they have are these watches, specifically on the bracelet, especially on that clearance. The next watch I wanted to mention here is the Timex Atelier collection. However, it's not available on a bracelet under $1,000. This is a watch that I will own. I have not purchased one yet. I really love this watch, and I specifically like this bracelet because it's so cool. I really love the look of the bracelet in combination with the case, and that's the reason why I want to own that. On the strap, I think it's a great looking watch as well. However, it's the bracelet on this watch that kind of does it for me, so I have to own it on the bracelet. And like I said, it's $1,050, so that's not the watch that I want to talk about. The watch that I want to talk about here is a recent release of a watch that they came out with last year. So this is the Deepwater Reef 200 in titanium, but they have now come out with this watch on a titanium bracelet. So this is a grade 2 titanium bracelet on a grade 2 titanium watch. It's inspired by 1970s dive watches. I know a lot of people say it looks like a 62 Mas. The 62 Mas was also inspired by 1970s dive watches. So the general inspiration for these watches was the 1970s. You get solid lume blocks on this watch, and you get a lumed bezel. And they have improved the lume dramatically on the version that I first featured here on my channel last year. They've also come out with an orange dial version, which they're not offering on a bracelet. If they were offering that on the bracelet, it would definitely be my pick. But I really do love the tone on tone of the all titanium with the titanium bezel. I love the look of this watch, and it comes in at such a good price because you're getting a Miyota 8 series inside, which again is very reliable and easy to replace. You're getting 200 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, all the bells and whistles for $679. This is not a watch from any other brand that would cost $679, unless it was like a micro brand. Timex have a history, and they are an older brand, and they are pricing these watches at micro brand prices, and they are giving you a lot for your money. I think this is a great watch. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Next is a watch that I had to include in this video. It is the Seiko Speedtimer that I reviewed here on my channel last year. Specifically, the Champagne dial, the SPB 513. I think this is a very good looking watch from Seiko. It's powered by a 6R movement with 72 hours of power reserve. So this is their upgraded 6R55, 200 meters of water resistance in a speed timer, which doesn't really make all that much sense. They could have put 100 meters of water resistance, but they didn't. And it gets an inner rotating bezel. I love the color combination on the dial. I love the bracelet. The only thing that this is missing is on the fly micro adjust. And again, I would always point you to the secondary market for this watch. It is $1,000, so $995, I think, at retail. But if you go on the secondary market, you can get this watch for less than that, for around $800 if you hunt around a little bit. And that is a very good price for this watch because it is so good looking in my opinion. And I am really happy that they came out with this, and I hope they keep on moving in this direction. Really, this feels like a much higher end watch, and the price isn't terrible. So they didn't go crazy and charge $1,500 for this. They kept it under $1,000. And the last watch that I want to talk about is really an entire brand. The brand that I want to talk about is Eterna. I talk about them here on my channel very often. However, they offer a wide array of watches. Dress watches, sport watches, integrated bracelet watches, field watches for very, very good prices on the secondary market. You can get them usually new, gray market, or slightly used in great condition for great prices. The Kontiki is a really good place to start, or you want to get a little bit of information about their watches. There are plenty of watches with Sellita SW200s, but they also make their own in-house movement, which is slightly less reliable than the SW200, but they are very reliable. I have a lot of experience with them, and one of the watches that I own, I actually own currently 2 Eternas. Both of them are GMTs with their in-house movements, and I have never had a problem at all. I've bought both of my watches for under $1,000, and I've never spent over $1,000 for any Eterna. And these are all pretty high-end watches for the money. Definitely check out Eterna in general. They're a great brand, they have a really cool history, and they make some really amazing watches that sell for next to nothing on the secondary market. They're still in business somehow. I don't know who's buying Eterna at retail, but they are still in business. If you go on places like eBay and Chrono24, you will find some bargains in Eterna. You just have to be a little bit patient, and you would definitely find some gems. Anyway, guys, that is my list of watches. I think I came up with a pretty good list, but there are a lot of other watches that I could discuss in a video like this in the future. So I will be making definitely a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 4 of best value watches under $1,000, because I think that $1,000 price point is really important. There are so many good watches that you can get for under $1,000 that would be considered luxury and really well made watches for under $1,000. You can have a full collection of watches that are all sub $1,000, and you would have an amazing collection. So that's why I really like talking about this specific price point. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think down in the comments below. What do you think about the watches that I mentioned in this video? Do you have suggestions for a future video that I should include in a future list? That's really it, guys. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. That's really it, guys. Thank you for logging on. I will catch you guys in the next video.